What's up, YouTube? It's your boy P. You already know how rocking. Positive vibes to the end. You feel me? Now listen. Hey, if you seen my last video and you liked the video, man, all I can say, this is part 2. This is getting deep. It's getting real deep. You know what I'm saying? Hope that explained it good on the last video on certain things. But I'm gonna go ahead and not do too much talking because we already about to listen to a lot of talking. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the vid. You feel me?
Have you ever seen a human train himself? You know what's really interesting? It's really interesting how God sets stuff up. He's got such great systems. So think about how out of control the world is, right? You know why people react to everything? Because nobody ever taught them how to respond. What does that mean?
What do you mean?
So people react. So you have something happens, you have two choices. You can either react or respond, right? You got how many children?
2.
2 children. Do you want them to grow up and be responsible?
Yes.
Responsible.
I think.
So you want them to have the character of responsibility.
I want them to have the character of responsibility. Yes.
That's dope, bruh. See, nobody, I don't even know if most people thought of that. I know I didn't think of that. That's crazy. Responsibility. Be able to respond. And have an ability to do that. Then react.
So think about the word responsibility. It means to respond with ability. And if you can't respond with ability, the only thing you can do is react.
I'm learning.
My dude. Up in here.
Let's go to breakthrough.
Hey, chat, we both learning. We going crazy.
So like in every area of life, so in the military, you can't sign up for the military and then go off to battle the next day. You have to go through this thing called what?
Training.
Boot camp, right. So it's really interesting how there are 4 levels of parenting for 4 levels of child development. So and this is important because you can take those 4 levels of parenting and apply them to the 4 levels of coaching and the 4 levels of value and the 4 levels of teaching for the 4 levels of learning, and it all just keeps on showing up over and over and over and over again because it's all patterns. And like once you start recognizing patterns, you start like knowing how life works. And you're like, I haven't seen that pattern before, right? So when a child is born, they're out of control, right? And so it's really interesting that in the Bible, there's this, in Mark chapter 4, there's a story about a woman who had an issue of blood for how long? Do you remember?
For
12 years.
12 years.
For 12 years. And there was a girl who died who was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? When Jesus went to Jerusalem with his parents, and then they were going back home, and they were gone for a day before they realized that he was gone. How old was he?
12.
He was 12 years old. Why? Because every number has significance. 1 is the number of unity, 2 is the number of separation, 3 is the number of God, 4 is the number of the earth. Oftentimes when we find principles on the earth that work, they often show up in 4s. 4 winds of the earth. 4 directions of the earth.
Real quick, pitting that real quick. Where do we get the number is the number of this? How do we...
Let's come back to that.
Okay.
Because where we're going is way more important than the answer to that question right now.
I'm not going to forget.
Don't forget. So 4 winds of the earth, 4 corners of the earth, 4 seasons on the earth, 4 directions on the earth, 4 is the number of the earth. A lot of times things that work on earth oftentimes show up in 4s. Not all the time, but oftentimes, right? And, you've heard me talk about the 4 levels of value, the 4 levels of teaching for the 4 levels of learning. Well, so when children are born, they're undisciplined or out of control. They can't control anything. They can't control their bodily functions. They can't hold their head. You pick up a baby, it's like, you got to hold their head or they're going to break their own neck, right? So the first 4 years, 4 times 3 is 12, right? So God set it up in such a way that if we do this right, we can have some pretty amazing children by age 12. Because, I was telling you the numbers. So 4 is the number of the earth, 5 is the number of grace, 6 is the number of man, 7 is the number of completion, 8 is the number of abundance, infinity, eternity, and the new beginning, 9 is the number of truth, 10 is the number of perfect order, 11 is the number of disorder, 12 is the number of perfect government. So the story about the woman with the issue of blood, it's showing us that this woman, this disease had perfect control over her life. Right? The This girl that died at age 12 in Mark chapter 4, she died when she was going to be Beit Mitzvah and become an adult, right? So, interestingly enough, there are 4 levels of parenting. 1 through 4, training. The purpose of training is to teach the child to respond properly to authority. And one of the biggest problems our society has today, we have a bunch of people who are adults who've never been trained. So they don't know how to respond.
They
They're out of
react.
control. They're still out of control.
They'll react. Just things.
Age 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Y'all getting this? Y'all with me?
Age 5, 6, 7, and 8 is teaching. The purpose of teaching is to teach the children to reason properly with truth. I believe that the hardest phase of parenting is the teaching phase. Training, that's easy. You just tell them to do it, and they have to obey you immediately and completely, or they suffer the consequences, right? Which might be a spanking, it might be you got to go to your room, it might be whatever, but you suffer the consequences. So then, age 5, 6, 7, and 8, you teach them. You teach them the reasons behind all the rules. Why? Because you don't just want people who only respond to truth. You want people who only respond to authority. You want people who have the ability to reason with truth. So you teach them, and then age 9, 10, 11, and 12, you transition them. You give them the ability to make decisions with your supervision. What are we going to eat for supper tonight? Okay, we're going to eat this. Okay, let's go in the kitchen and make it. You go out to dinner. What are we going to order? You have the 9-year-old. Order for everybody. You show them how to calculate the tip. You teach them how to do all these things. And what you're doing is you're transitioning these skills, life skills, to your children, age 9, 10, 11, and 12. 13 and beyond, you can trust them as an adult. And in Hebrew culture, a child becomes bar mitzvah or beit mitzvah at age 12 or 13 because
Chad, this is crazy and deep. Like, I'm tuning in. I get what he's saying. I don't want to say much because I'm pretty sure y'all get what he's saying. Y'all don't need me to keep talking. I'm just laying back listening just like y'all.
The word bar means son, mitzvah means law. You become a son of law. What does that mean? That means now you're responsible to God for yourself as an adult. And so if we could take our coaching programs and make the first phase of our coaching program training. I'm going to train you. I'm going to make the second part of my coaching program teaching. Now you're going to understand why, the whys behind the what. And then the last part of the coaching program, we're going to transition. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do the things. And now I can trust you. You're going to go get the deal done.
Mm-hmm.
So, training,
teaching, transitioning, and trusting.
And now I can trust you.
I can trust you.
Golly. And I think I've been doing it all wrong, Myron.
Brother, we all do it all wrong. That's how we learn how to do it right.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I guess I would have to consider the people who are now trusting me with their future or their career or whatever, and I got to train them how to
become trustworthy themselves.
Trustworthy
themselves.
Not
become
just
responsible to respond with ability.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. It all comes when you gotta believe in yourself, man. And it start with here, bro. The start right here. You ain't gonna get nowhere if you don't, man. I'm telling y'all. That's why we got so many successful people, bro. They gotta trust in themselves, man. Not over here walking around trying to have other people to believe in them and all that and trust them. No. It comes with yourself first.
They can respond to authority with ability. They can respond to truth with ability. They can respond to the things that have to be done, situations with ability. Responsibility means to be able to respond with ability. And most people don't have that. So what they have, the only thing they can do is react because they feel like, I'm a victim. Well, you're a victim of your lack of training and your lack of teaching and your lack of transitioning. You are a victim of, oftentimes, of society's ill doings, but our own ill doings, because the reality is there's enough truth in the world. We can all go seek it out if we care enough. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, we care more about our comfort than we do about our transformation, unless we have some kind of situation that awakens us.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to like telling me all the things to a few episode. Yo, you know what's crazy? Before I even really got into coaching, I talked to a few coaches, and they're telling me all the things to look out for when you bring on a client, right? You're going to understand that your client isn't going to necessarily read the instructions. They're not going to read the email. They're not going to do the thing. They're just kind of talking through these things. Yeah. But I very rarely had a conversation with other coaches where we start to analyze our ability to train. Mm-hmm. Right. Our ability to get them to start walking at least, mm-hmm. or to keep your head up. Yep. You know what I mean? Just stay on the path. Yeah. You just changed my whole coaching program. Give Myron a round of applause for that. Just changed my whole program.
So I believe that expectation is a human being's greatest superpower. I believe the most important thing that you can do for a coaching client, for a child, for a friend, for a spouse, for a sibling, for anybody, is to have enough belief in them so they can borrow some of your belief in them from you until they build enough of their own belief in themselves. Mm-hmm. Expectation is the human being's greatest superpower. If you expect to win, your chances of expecting to win doesn't guarantee you're going to win. Mm. But expecting you're going to win gives you a far greater chance of winning than expecting you're going to lose. So this person who said, well, most of the people aren't going to read the program. Most of the people aren't going to. That's a dangerous belief for a coach to have. Mm-hmm. I have to believe that everybody's going to do the work. Yeah. And you may not do it, but you won't not do it because I didn't believe you were going to do it. If I don't believe you're going to do it, you ain't going to know I believe you can't do it. You ain't going to know I don't believe you are going to do it. You're going to think you are going to believe, I know if I'm coaching you, I am going to believe that you can do the thing, whatever the thing is, regardless of circumstance. Period. That is one of the greatest things I can do for you, is to believe in the power of your God-likeness to do the thing. Because there's nothing you're going to face that's bigger than you. There's nothing that you're going to face that's stronger than you. There's nothing that you're going to face that is better than you.
Sorry, I gotta go back to that, bro. A lot of stuff he been saying been deep. I haven't been going back. But I gotta go back to this one.
A face that's bigger than you. There's nothing of likeness to do the thing. Believe in the power of your God-likeness to do the thing. Because there's nothing you're going to face that's bigger than you. There's nothing that you're going to face that's stronger than you. There's nothing that you're going to face that is better than you. But there are things that you will face that you don't know they're not better than you. And you don't know they're not bigger than you.
Makes sense.
So if I can introduce you to who you really are, you'll never let anything stop you.
So first level is getting people to understand that they are, you get them to become something different. Get them to think in a different manner of the person that they will become. And then we got to get,
as my daughter would say, Dini would say, get them to think from the place they're desiring to go. Think from that place.
Get them to think from the...
Come on, man. Stop.
Place
they're desiring to go.
Desiring to go.
Right. So if you were already achieving the result that you're looking to achieve, if you were already that person, what would you do? Do that.
Okay. Now we're on do. Getting people to think from the place of where they want to be. But now how do we get people to do it? Or
they
if
can't
you
help
get them
but do
to
it.
be it, they'll
automatically do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't help but do it.
Being speaks to our identity. Doing speaks to our activity. Having speaks to our property. So if you will be who you're supposed to be, you will be able to do what you're supposed to do, and you will have what you're supposed to have. But it all starts with being. See, our whole society says if what you're working on is not working for you, try harder. But that's not a real formula. A real formula would be if you don't like the output, change the input. And guess what?
What's that?
Being is the input of doing.
Being is the input.
Being is the input. Doing is the output. So if you'll become the person, you won't be able to help but do the thing.
Yeah.
Guess what? Doing is the output of being, but doing is the input for having.
Right. So, okay. You become... input, you become. The output is you do the thing.
You do the thing.
But
then when you do the thing, that becomes an input.
It's input, and now you have the stuff.
You have the stuff. But see, the desire, the God-given desire that we have, we desire to have the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all that. I know you told me to read them books, but I want to have that stuff, right? And so what happens is we get so focused on the stuff, we say, okay, well, you got to go do this. And they say, okay, I'm going to do it. I tried and it didn't work. Right, you tried and it didn't work because you attempted to do something that was outside of your ability. Remember what I said a couple days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, every human being on earth is doing 100% of everything they can do, who they are right now.
Say it one more time.
Every human being on earth is already doing 100% of everything they can do, who they are right now. Everybody's already maxing out their current ability. You're doing everything you can, who you are. Now, you're not maxing out your potential, but you're just maxing out your ability. You're doing everything you can do until you become more than you are. And then you'll be able to do more than you're doing.
Yeah, I was watching you the other day, and I was
watching what?
I was watching you the other day.
Okay.
Like, I was here, and I'm just watching. I'm like, first off, where do you get all this stuff from? Two, how do you draw the comparisons and the parallels? And how do you know about the movies and Darwin? Where do you get all, like, what's your personal development? And how do you retain it all? Because I don't retain.
I'm easily fascinated. I'm a very slow reader. So
I don't believe it.
Very slow. So here's what's really interesting, though. The law of polarity. We talked about the law of energy. We talked about the law of entropy, right? What about the law of polarity? For every positive, there's a negative. Every negative, there's a positive, right? So have you ever seen a one-sided piece of bread?
No.
One-sided piece of paper?
No.
One-sided pancake?
No.
One-sided coin?
No.
Why? Why have you never seen one of those?
Everything has two sides.
Right. Because they can't exist. It's impossible for there to be such a thing as a one-sided piece of paper or a one-sided pancake. No matter how thin you slice a piece of bread, it always has two sides. Right?
Right.
Which means it's impossible to have a negative thing in your life without the equal amount of positive from the very same thing also being in your life.
All right, keep going. Come on, break it down. Break it down, because I feel like you're going somewhere.
I'm telling you, bro. This stuff get deep, bro. I don't care what nobody say, bro. This stuff get deep. It's lit when you don't take the time to really pay attention to how life really is, bro. It's over with, bro. Bro, you gotta take time, bro. I'm trying to tell you, bro. This stuff is deep.
Okay?
I feel like you're going somewhere.
So it's impossible to have, this is bad. Well, okay, let's say it is bad. But if it's bad, it has to be good. It can't just be bad. There's no such thing as something that's just bad.
Bro, I already have that type of mindset. It's crazy that I had this. Like, I was just talking to my sister about this, bro. It's just, it's a lot of, bad energy, but it's always a good energy, bro. Me, I'm a type of person, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general right now. Like, when it come down to me, I get some bad energy or I'm feeling bad, it doesn't matter. Just bad energy. I know how to turn it to something positive no matter what. And that's how y'all should keep it, bro. Yeah, like, for example, let's say you lost a job. Yeah, that's bad, but gotta look at the good side. Maybe you wasn't meant to stay there. There's other jobs out here, bro. You can make your money. You just gotta get up. You gotta figure it out, man. You can listen. I said this on one of my last videos. I said that on one of my videos. I was like, you gotta understand, in life, it's like a math problem. The reason why I said that is because there will always be problems, and problems always will have a solution. You just gotta figure it out. Don't sit here and complain. Bro, I'm telling you watching this video, when you see yourself complaining, bro, stop it. Especially if you're a man, stop that. Ain't no woman want no man that's in here complaining and cry the whole time. Shut up, please. Don't do it. It's not even worth it, bro. What's the point of sitting here complaining and crying the whole time when you know for a fact you can fix it, bro? You can figure it out. Just because you lost a job or something does not mean the world is ending. You still breathing. You woke up another day. A lot of people died right now. Somebody died right now. Some people died yesterday. Some people really didn't get time to wake up another day, bro. So as long as you breathing, bro, that should let you know you still got time in your hands to make things right in your life, bro. To actually get to where you want to be. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It's okay. You probably broke right now. That doesn't mean it will be forever. If you sit down and not do nothing, okay, then it's gonna probably gonna be forever. But if you get up and try to do something. I don't care if it's little, bro. You gonna get somewhere, bro. You just gotta believe in yourself.
So your ability, your reading slow.
So is a disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Because kids laughed at me in school. When I read in front of the class, it was crazy. I felt like I was chasing those words all across. Like, sit still, I'm trying to read you. Right? It was bad, y'all. And even now, I read very, very slowly. But fortunately, because I couldn't read that good, I developed a really good memory.
Yeah.
Because then I didn't have to read it. I already knew what it said. So the downside was I don't read fast. The upside was I can remember stuff fairly easily. I may have to hear it a couple of times. And if it's really interesting to me, it's locked and loaded now.
You know what? I think you're just even that story. I think you're like a walking, helping someone to be. Because you're changing the way I think. And I don't know if Myron said it.
Someone to be.
It's like a walk. Like, it's just, because like the way you talk is not, like, here's the thing. Okay, and I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch the videos in the back office.
Okay, yeah.
And you didn't either? I didn't watch them, but I'll get on the calls, the Q&A.
Oh,
you kind of talking.
Office hours?
Yeah, office hours. Mm-hmm. And people are talking, and you answer the questions, but I just got it. I'm like, I can do it now. But I don't know how I got it. It wasn't like a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
But the way I'm starting to think is like, even now I'm starting to think of some of my inefficiencies, some of my downfalls, some of my weaknesses. And now as you're talking, I'm thinking of, wow, what strength can I draw from this? Which gives me hope to just keep moving forward.
Oh, for sure. Every weakness has to be a strength. If it's not a strength, it can't be a weakness. But every weakness has to be a strength, but every strength also has to be a weakness. Because if it's not a weakness, it can't be a strength. It's impossible to have a one-sided anything. It's not possible.
I think some people think they're all weakness.
I know. That's what I mean. They don't know who they are. And your job as a coach is to introduce them to their true identity. To who they really are. And by the way, and I know everybody doesn't believe in God, and that's okay. I'm not trying to get people to believe in God, but I know who I am because I know whose I am. And so Moses asked God when he told him, go to...
Y'all, if you see me shaking my head, it's because I want to say stuff, but I want to keep going because it's good. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Tell Pharaoh, I said, let my people go. Okay, but before I go, he's the king, right? And he's the king of the greatest nation on earth. So when I go tell him, you told me to let his people go, who should I tell him sent me? God didn't say, tell him that I do has sent you. The I have that I have has sent you. The what? I am that I am has sent you. Because God understands that the most important thing about him is his identity. What's the first thing God said about man? Let us make man in our image after our likeness. And then let them have dominion. So God made us as human beings to be in charge of this earth realm. Yeah. But if I know that, now I know, based on that, and everybody didn't have the same belief. Okay, but this belief is the belief I have. I know when I face something, it's impossible for it to be bigger than me, better than me, stronger than me, able to stop me. I might decide to stop because I don't want to become the person who can do the thing, but it can't stop me.
Do you have any struggles with belief? Because
let's go back.
decide to stop because I don't think it would be better than me, stronger than me is the belief I have. I know when I face something, it's impossible for it to be bigger than me, better than me, stronger than me, able to stop me. I might decide to stop because I don't want to become the person who can do the thing, but it can't stop me.
Okay. Do you have any struggles?
So deep. That is so deep. It's like, basically what he's saying is like, if let's just say you doing something and what you're doing is like hard for you at first and you just like want to stop, but you know for a fact you can't let it stop you for you. You can't let it stop you from becoming to the person you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Become. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let it stop you. You know what I'm trying to say? Hold on.
Okay, but this belief is the belief I have. I know when I face something, it's impossible for it to be bigger than me, better than me, stronger than me, able to stop me. I might decide to stop because I don't want to become the person who can do the thing, but it can't stop me.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I said it right, but basically something trying to stop you, you know for a fact it can't beat you. You the GOAT. You can't let stuff beat you, bro. It's because it seems like it's impossible. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's possible. You just can't let it defeat you.
Do you have any struggles with belief? Because I think
struggles with belief
in terms of something you don't necessarily believe.
Hold on.
So, for instance, I think maybe 3 years ago you had a strong belief in who you are, but even today it's even stronger. But 3-5 years from now, it will be even stronger. Meaning, I'll give you an example. Somebody said they are going to make $25 million next year, and I think he said something like, you should do that too. And I'm like, sounds cool, but I don't believe it. Now, I do believe that I can.
So my question for you before you say anything else is, where did that come from?
I don't know.
What about $25 million is harder than $25? That's the part I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know.
It comes from somewhere, though.
It comes from something. Because
if I said I don't know to you and you asked me a question, you wouldn't let me get away with it.
For sure. I have a belief of what I'm going to accomplish, which I feel is in my wheelhouse. Here's the thing. I believe I can, but I don't believe enough to go do what I feel like I need to do to make that type of money.
Or maybe it's just not important enough for you to go figure it out.
That's good.
Maybe. Right?
Probably.
I've often said, you know what's really interesting? You know what keeps a lot of people from making $1 million a year?
What's that?
Making $500,000 a year.
Ah.
Right? So $1 million might keep somebody from $25 million. Why? I'm making $1 million a year. I'm killing it. Right? Making $1 million a year. I'm killing it. Okay. If that's what you want to believe. Do you? Does that make sense?
All right. So, little do you know, I didn't really explain it. And if you don't know what he's trying to say, I'm about to basically explain it to you right now. But basically what he's saying is some people, they'll make $500,000 a year. And little do they know they can make more. But they don't take the time to actually try because in their mind they're killing it. You know what I'm saying? But if you actually take the time and try harder, you probably make more than 500,000. Probably make 10 mil. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically what he's trying to say in that video. But we better get straight back to the video. All right.
It does.
It does.
So if it's not that you don't believe you could be a billionaire, it's just you don't want to do what it takes to do that right now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know. Okay. I don't have a desire to be a billionaire or to not be a billionaire. It's irrelevant. Right? That whether or not I'm a billionaire to me is irrelevant. I want to become all I can be. I want to do as much as I possibly can and when I say do as much as I possibly can, I mean live in my creative space to make the world a better place. And if that turns into $1 billion or $100 billion, or if it turns into $1 million or $100 million, or if it turns into the fact that I make $100,000 and I get to impact people's lives, I'm cool with whatever that turns out to be.
That is
Like,
so me right there. I care about that, but at the same time, I know like what I'm trying to do. So if I do all this, trying to help people, become a better person than they are now, you know what I'm saying? If it get me to like $10 million, then it gets me to $10 million. I'm like, yeah, I'm balling. I'm out here changing people's lives, and I'm getting 10 million. We lit.
but here's what I know about most human beings. If they will max out their being potential, their doing and having potential is way greater than they've ever thought possible.
I think I have a lot of limiting beliefs, Myron.
Most people do. But you weren't born with limiting beliefs. You weren't born with any beliefs. Somebody taught you to believe those limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Just my only challenge for you is you can have the limiting beliefs, just don't fight to keep them. Just don't fight to keep them. Just my only challenge for you is you can have the limiting beliefs, just don't fight to keep them.
Thanks for the therapy session. So who's your coach?
I've got a couple coaches. So Russell Brunson's one of my coaches. Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels. Okay, he's one of my coaches. Joel Bauer's one of my coaches.
Joel Bauer?
Joel Bauer.
Who's that?
Just a guy who's a coach. He's coached a lot of people. He's coached Tony Robbins, and a bunch of people you know of. He's like, dude's brilliant when it comes to marketing. Brilliant. Just hired another coach, Daryl Eves, as our YouTube coach.
I wonder who like Russell Brunson's coach is and who his coach is. You feel me? Like there's always these levels that, and I probably you having a coach impacts your belief system in seeing greater, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that happened for me this year in terms of getting in certain environments and rooms of people where, believe it or not, earlier this year, I'm thinking, wow, it would be amazing to make $1 million. It'd be amazing. And it's like immediately after I made the decision to go get that, I started being around like higher level entrepreneurs, and we blew past it.
Right.
But it wasn't
like it was sitting still.
Right. But it wasn't that I believed that I would do what I'm doing. But I just got around some people that helped me believe it.
Right. But when you got around some people who you saw yourself inside of, and they introduced you to the true identity of David Chance. That's
exactly. And I saw some people that are like more successful, and I'm like, I'm way better than them, but they killing it.
Right. Right. And that's what people think. Right? Yeah. I'm better. Oh, man, if they did, I know I can do it. That's how people think.
What's your greatest gift?
What's my greatest gift?
Your greatest gift.
I'm gonna say mine, and I already said it in this. Well, I think it was the other video or this vid. I don't know, but I say my greatest gift is being able to have something negative and turn it positive. You know what I'm trying to say? Like this year, it's like I'm a mastermind at that. Like I might have to get some negative news, and it's just like, dang, that's tough. Like it might bother me a little bit, but then an hour or two later, it's like boom, I can make that negative turn into a positive. Like, all right, it's okay. Yeah, that was bad, but you know what I'm saying? They ain't about to mess up my whole entire day. They ain't about to mess up my whole entire mindset in life and everything. Yeah, I say that's my greatest gift.
Define gift before I answer that, because I want to make sure I understand your question before I answer it.
If God said, I'm going to take everything you got, but I'll leave you this one thing. I'll leave this one gift. Well, he might have a bunch of gifts.
Like ability gift? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
My greatest gift is
however you internalize the question.
Okay, my greatest gift is the fact that I've received Jesus Christ as my Savior. That's my greatest gift. That's the greatest gift ever, so how could it be anything greater than that? So I didn't know if that's what you meant or not.
Okay, ability. Your greatest ability.
I think my
Okay, that too.
Greatest gift with regard to ability is the fact that I am insatiably and eternally curious.
And what is
I'm curious too.
Polarity of that? Where does that particular gift, it shows up, and great in terms of your curiosity and
yeah, it's really easy to get distracted. Like crazy easy to get distracted. Like you're curious, man, I wonder how that works. And then you spend 5 hours learning how something works, and you're like, okay, now I know how that works, so what am I gonna do with it? Oh, nothing. But it was fun finding it out.
So for somebody that is battling with their gift and the polarity of it, they know their gift is.
So let me give you a couple of things that people wouldn't think of. Some of the greatest gifts that you will ever receive in your life are extremely painful when you receive them.
Explain.
So I was born in Tampa. We're in Clearwater, which is right across the bridge from Tampa. I was born in Tampa, May 14th, 1961. You know what was really big in 1961?
What's that?
Segregation. I was born in a segregated hospital that had no grants, no government funding, all that stuff. The conditions of that hospital were so poor, I contracted polio before I was a year old. I have 6 brothers who can all run. I can't run. I hated the fact that I couldn't run when I was a child.
Why couldn't you run?
I had polio. I have a brace on my leg. I couldn't run.
Can you explain polio?
Okay, so polio is a neuromuscular disease that attacks the nerves in your spine that control certain parts of your body. So that part of your body doesn't move. If it doesn't move, it can't.
I just probably, just out of the blue, but I just want to put this out there. Because some people are scared to ask questions, so I'm going to say this. I don't care if you at school, whoever, or wherever you at, bro. If you got a question to ask, bro, don't be afraid to ask. I don't care if it's probably the dumbest question. Like, just ask, bro. Just ask. Ain't nothing wrong with asking. Like I said, it's okay to be dumb. But it's not okay to stay dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. Alright. Because because I like him. No matter what it is, if he don't understand, he will say, alright, bro, break this down. Explain to me. What is this? I want to know. Ain't nothing wrong with learning, bro. Learning is deep.
Bro. So it kind of, like you have atrophy and partial paralysis. So my left leg is about 1/100th as strong as my right leg. Like I can do this with my right leg, just something that simple. I can't do that with my left leg at all. I just can't. I mean, I have muscles in there. I can move some, but I can't even extend my own leg, right? And so as a child, I hated the fact that my right leg was like 3 times bigger than my left leg. I hated to have this hunk of metal on my leg all the time. And I wore orthopedic shoes. Everybody else was wearing PF flyers and Pro Kids. They were
was that the same thing as on Forrest Gump? When he had the braces?
Oh, I don't know.
You didn't see Forrest Gump. It's so crazy. I was talking to Myron. I was like, I was telling him about the podcast. Like, I did the interview with Dame Dash. He said, who? I was like, Dame Dash. And then I was like, we're just doing this. We're going to Rick Ross's house. He said, who? The rapper, Rick Ross? He's like, what? And I'm like, do you not watch TV at all? Like,
sometimes that, but I don't watch it enough to know who a lot of people are.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, all right, keep going. I'm sorry. He just does it. Okay. All right, so you didn't see Forrest Gump. Watch the movie. It's a good movie. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. So you have a brace on your leg.
I have a brace on my leg.
Yes.
So my left leg, by the time I'm 13 years old, my left leg is 2 inches shorter than my right leg. So I've got on orthopedic shoes that look like they were brown granny boots, like from the Beverly Hills. They were just ugly shoes. Everybody else is wearing like Pro Kids, PF Flyers, really cool sneakers, Converse All-Stars. I'm wearing granny boots. All the way through elementary school and through the 7th grade, I'm wearing granny boots. And then my left shoe had a sole on it that thick. And I couldn't run. And I hated it. And the kids made fun of me. And I punched them in the face. Right? Well, that's what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Okay. And I didn't like it. But I'm going to tell you, having polio was one of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. I couldn't see that as a child. As an adult, I can see it clearly. There are so many skills that I developed in my life that I would not have even had time to develop had I had the distraction of being able to run.
Give me some.
So,
going back.
Time to develop. So many skills that I developed in my life. As an adult, I can see it clearly. I couldn't see that as a child. As an adult, I can see it clearly. There are so many skills that I developed in my life that I would not have even had time to develop had I had the distraction of being able to run.
Give me some.
So, I believe everything, like polarity. So if there's something negative, so the strength that would have been in my leg, because it's not in my leg, it didn't go to, it can't be nowhere, it has to be somewhere. It moved to my mouth and my mind. Mm-hmm. I've often said God slowed my body down so my mind could speed up. Now, here's the reality. That may or may not be true, but at least I believe it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I know that there are so many things that I wouldn't even have 1/100th of the compassion and patience that I have with people had I not had polio.
Yeah.
I wouldn't intentionally give people my full attention had I not had polio. Because I know what it feels like to feel invisible to people. You feel me? Mm. And so, and I don't ever want to make people feel like people made me feel when I was a child.
Yeah.
And so it's a gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. But me, how I look at it, bro, it's always a reason for everything, bro. That's all I can say, bro. But I fully get what he's saying.
It's all a gift.
You couldn't there's no correct. You couldn't correct the.
Well, so. Now you're going to get me talking about brain science, right? So you can create new neural pathways, right? But it takes a long time and a lot of effort and energy. And so would it be possible to correct it? Ostensibly to some degree, but then you have to ask yourself at the expense of not doing what?
Right, because I think you told a story our first mastermind where like you were trying to correct it somehow. But I remember how the story made me feel, but I don't remember what happened. It was like you had some screws in your leg.
Oh no, I had a leg stretch operation. Yeah, I did. I had a leg stretch up. Like when I was 13, I didn't tell you that part of the story. So I was 13 years old. The doctors came to my parents and Mr. and Mrs. Bolton, we got an operation. Help your son stretch his legs, his leg, left leg 2 inches because it was 2 inches shorter. Now, it's really interesting how oftentimes present perceived voids create present how now it's really interesting how oftentimes present perceived voids create future pursued values.
Present perceived voids
create future pursued values. Okay. Right? So because I couldn't run, I spent a lot of time at the doctor's office and I was always getting these braces adjusted and all this other stuff. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor. So I started learning about anatomy in elementary school and how muscles work and how bones work and the femur and the tibia and the fibula and the humerus and all these bones in your body. And so I started learning about all this stuff when I was a kid because I wanted to know how it worked and why mine didn't. Mm. Right? And so he said, we can stretch your son's leg 2 inches. I'm thinking to myself, I've seen Gumby and the Fantastic Four. And I know you're a doctor, but bones ain't made out of rubber, bro. Right?
That's all Gumby.
And the Fantastic Four. No, that ain't how it works. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to break the tibia, the big bone in the middle of your shin. We're going to break it in the middle. The fibula, we're going to break at the top and the bottom. We're going to put these 2 screws through the top, 2 screws through the bottom. We're going to put it on this metal rack, and we're going to turn these knobs a half turn every day for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, that bone is going to be stretched 2 inches. That's about 2 inches. Right? And I said, wow. And then they said, he won't be able to go to school for a whole month. I'm like, sign me up. I'm ready right now. Let's go. I hated school by then. Anyway, so went in, had the surgery.
I'm sorry to say this, but it's crazy. He hated school, but he came so smart.
They stretched my leg, and at the end of surgery, there's a 2-inch gap in the bone, so you can't just put it in a cast. So they took the screws that were through my leg, they put like these pieces of wood to hold the screws in place, and then they wrapped all that up in a cast. I was in a cast for like 6 months. I was in crutches for 6 months because the bone had to grow back. It didn't just have to heal, but it had to grow back together and then heal, right? I don't even know why they thought this would work, but apparently they figured something out, and it kind of worked. And so they had to cut my Achilles tendon. It created a whole lot of other stuff because, and so I remember being in the 7th grade at Roosevelt Junior High School in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm coming down the steps on crutches after I had my surgery, and I go back to school. Some kid pushed me down the steps on crutches. No, yeah. No, they're alive. I didn't know who it was. They're good. Straight. You don't have to worry about it. But seriously, so like people are mean. Life does not give you a pass because you're going through something. Right? Like,
just because you're going through something does not mean the world is going to stop. The world going to keep on going. Even when you die, the world is going to keep on going. I'm telling you, man.
Like, okay, you got this problem. Well, guess what? Let me add one to it. Right? But all of that stuff, it's a gift. So I had that surgery.
I just had to put that out there, man. The world don't care.
And that was a gift. Now I don't have to wear orthopedic shoes anymore. I still wear a brace, but I don't have to wear orthopedic shoes anymore. And the truth be told, I only started wearing a brace when I was 32 after I started playing golf. Like when from age 13 to age 32, I didn't wear a brace. I just walked with a cane. So I didn't wear a brace. So now I wear a brace so I can play golf. That's why I went back and went to the metal brace so I could play golf.
Man, and the fact that you could just draw like the polarity, that's my new word for me. Like you can draw the upside to every downside. And
Well, you can, but you have to choose to. Yeah. But you understand who gets the benefit from that. You do.
Yeah.
Right? If you, like, there are some people who can only see the negative in every positive, but they choose to. There's always a positive, there's always a negative. You get the one you focus on. I get the one I focus on.
Didn't I just
We
say
get to
that?
decide what we focus on.
I'm going to be an awesome coach.
I don't even remember saying this. Hold on. That's crazy.
After this, you know that?
We get to decide. Negative. You get the one you focus on. There's always a positive, there's always a negative. You get the one you focus on. I get the one I focus on. We get to decide what we focus on.
I'm going to be an awesome coach after this, you know that?
You're already an awesome coach.
I'm all right. But this is because like being able to not just help someone do the stuff, but to paint pictures for people to draw from when they're not doing the thing. Like when I ask them to do something and they just don't because they did it exactly how I said to do it, but because they haven't become the type of person or acquired the skills yet, of course they wouldn't get the same outcome that I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like a movie that I did see. I think it was like Rocky 75 or whichever, because there's a lot of those, right? So he's talking to his son. They're on the street and the son's ashamed of his dad. Or he's scared of something. And Rocky looks at his son. He says, "You're better than that. You're better than that." That's a coach's job. You're better than that.
Not just how to throw a punch.
Not just how to throw a punch.
Give that a round of applause, please.
I'm just glad I saw a movie that people heard of.
All right, chat. That would be the end of this video. We will be going for part 3. This video is deep. I have to make videos like this because this is deep and I love it. While I learn, you learn. You won't keep it like that, man. But hey, man, enjoy y'all day if you watching this video during the day, man, or the night, whatever, man. Y'all stay safe, stay lit. Positive vibes to the end, you feel me? Stay lit, man. 100. Keep on chasing your dreams.